Hey everybody, welcome to my TNA Before the Glory Impact review. I was probably going to do this late last night, but I didn't get a chance to do it. But I welcome you to the show. Let me set up my little area right here. I have to have my drink of coffee in the morning, you know. But anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? What about Impact? What about the Before the Glory live edition of Impact? What about it? Well, I can say this. They've really gotten used to doing tapings on Mondays and Tuesdays because as much as I like to watch Impact on Thursdays, and I do, despite how anybody else feels about Impact, I have to say that doing a live edition on Thursday, I think they were thrown off the game. Really, honestly. I mean, I really do think they were thrown off the game. I mean, everything seemed to start out alright. I know that sounds a little crazy, but here's why. We opened Before the Glory, the live Impact, if you will, with Abyss abducting or holding Dixie Carter hostage by handcuffs. With one cuff to him, one cuff to her. And he drags her through the backstage area into the arena. Basically, I don't know if he's threatening to hurt her or something like that, but he goes on to tell her that, hey, everything you see here, everything that you've had, you know, everything, you know, from the silver spoon to the ownership, everything like that, it's going to be gone, you're going to be gone, blah, blah, blah. You know, basically we get the same thing over and over again, but except he's telling Dixie he's actually telling it to Dixie herself. Now I will admit maybe Dixie did a little bit of overacting, if you will, in this situation, because yeah, she was petrified, she was terrified, but there was a little overreacting in her part. I mean, Dixie's a great, I mean, I'll give Dixie credit. I mean, she's a great, obviously she's a very interactive woman when it comes to the fans, you know, they're very interactive, but Dixie, my friend, you need some acting lessons, girl. That's all I'm going to say. You need some acting lessons, because I think you overdid it just a little bit tonight. Well, anyway, finally Eric Bischoff comes down, jogging down to the arena. I don't know if some people put it that he was being a little late getting down there or what was going on. But anyway, he's finally, I guess, able to convince Abyss to let Dixie go. Abyss does just that. She kind of gets carried off or escorted out of the arena by D'Lo Brown, Al Snow, and Simon Diamond, the agents, if you will, of TNA. And then Eric Bischoff says, okay, let's go to commercial. And as we're about to do that, Sting's music hits, and we see Eric Bischoff talking to his production assistant, or one of the production assistants, wondering what's going on. I mean, it was just excuse my language, and God forgive me for saying this, but I'll be honest, like I said, it was a complete fuck up at times. I mean they have gotten so used to doing tapings and all that, Mondays, Tuesdays, and even Wednesdays, that they can't even do a live edition on a Thursday when they need to, especially when it's the Thursday in the Impact 72 hours, which is 72 hours away from their WrestleMania, the biggest pay-per-view of the year, Bound for Glory. They can't even pull it off correctly in a way. I mean, true, they had some, you know, decent matches, and that's hard for me to say. They had some decent matches, but they couldn't, production-wise, they just couldn't pull it off because they're so used to doing the tapings. They're so used to it. So anyway, after that, we get a promo. We come back for commercial. Bischoff's still in the ring. We get a promo with him, Sting, Nash, and Pope. And Bischoff is finally like, you know, look, you guys want answers? You really want to know what's going on, Sting? Here's what's going on. And he shows them footage from Hogan's back surgery. Now, some people that have reviewed Impact already, Before the Glory already, you know, the people at Max Sports, the people at the ADTV, you know, Spinnernet, J-Dub, No DQ, they're probably all questioning if these surgeries, well, we all know the surgeries were done earlier in the week, but we don't know if that was, some of that footage was from that actual morning, because in case some of you don't know, and even Bischoff pointed this out. He pointed this out to Sting, Pope, and Nash. He said, in case you don't know basically he said, so in case you guys don't know what everybody else knows already, and then, like I said, he showed them the footage, and again, if you didn't know, Hogan was readmitted into the hospital yesterday morning, so we don't know what's going on there. Some people are saying David Hero, one of them, on the PWR show last night, David Hero said, hey, Hogan's going to come down to the ring at Bound for Glory. Now some people, other people like say CJ, ICO CJ, and K-Ross are saying, no, they're not going to come to, he's not going to be there. We'll find out, we'll see what happens. Anyway, he shows them the footage and says, okay, you think you're man enough to handle that? Here's what we're going to do. We'll have ourselves a handicap match. You three against Jeff Jarrett and Samoa Joe. Now, and he questions, are you man enough to do that? So now we get a handicap match for Bound for Glory. Now some people pointed out that this is sort of similar to what happened about 14, 15 years ago. Because the event's in the same building, it's almost the same scenario of a match. That's why a lot of people are predicting we could have Hogan coming down and do a revising of what happened 15 years ago. That's what a lot of people are saying. So anyway, after those two promos, we finally get a match. Well, actually, before that, we get an outside promo, kind of like we did with Ric Flair back in January. And who comes out of the car that's arriving? Mickie James. And believe me, I was actually happy to see Mickie James back on television, whether it was TNA, whether it was with TNA or not. I was happy to see her. So after that, you know, and everybody's wondering what she's doing there, and I think we all probably figured out what she was going to be doing if she was debuting on the show before Bound for Glory. So anyway, Mickie James, you know, arrives at the Impact Zone. Then we get our match for the rights to the Beautiful People Name and Music. So Madison and Tara come out to the music, as well as Velvet and Angelina. And how do I say this? The match was decent, but not on par to what the knockouts can do. Not on par, but it was decent. It was okay. And how do they win it? Well, I guess it's a double team finisher. Both Velvet and Angelina end up kicking Tara right in the back of the legs and knocking her down. That's how they win it. So anyway, that happens, and then Miss Tessmarker comes out, and oh my God, you know, if there's one thing TNA is doing right with Tessmarker, it's giving her an attitude and a personality WWE didn't do. In case you don't know, Tessmarker in WWE was Brooke. And I'm not talking Brooke Hogan or anything, I'm talking Brooke from Extreme Exposé. That's who it is. So anyway, they're giving her this attitude of saying, basically letting all the girls, Velvet, Angelina, Tara, and Madison, she's coming out and basically telling them, look, you skanks. And that's what she called them. She called them skanks. Big deal. You know, this ain't no BFF, Best Friends Forever Club. This ain't no dress up, this ain't no Barbie doll deal. This is competition, and here, there is no friends. And she basically had to reassure them and remind them that when they face each other this Sunday, it's not tag team match, it's every knockout, every woman for themselves. And to reassure that it's going to be every woman for herself, she's assigning a special guest referee. And who does that just happen to be? None other than Mickie James, who comes out to a new theme music, Hardcore Country Girl, which I actually kind of like. I actually kind of like that because Mickie got such a great reaction, despite the fact that some people say, oh, she cut some sort of a heelish promo. She didn't really cut. Let me say this. I don't think she cut a heelish promo. I think what her and Tessmacher are being given is the attitudes of, listen, you girls, this Knockouts division isn't the WWE's Women/Divas division. The Knockouts division is supposed to be something different. It's supposed to be where we compete and wrestle for a championship, not trying to see who's the better looking, who's got the better music, and who's all this and that. That's the attitude I think they're giving Tessmacher, and I think they're giving Mickie right now, an attitude of saying, hey, we're here to compete and wrestle, not try to outdo each other in the good looks department and the BFF department. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me for a second. Okay. But anyway, that's what she says. That's what she says. We're not here to compete with each other in the BFF department. And all that. So, yeah, Mickie James is assigned a special guest referee. Then the next match that we get, I think this is sort of before the next match. We get a backstage promo, I believe, with Dixie telling Eric, fire Abyss. I don't care what it has to be done. And Eric's like, look, Dixie, Eric's trying to tell, look, we got a match with Abyss has got a match this Sunday, and Dixie's like, I don't care, just get it done. So anyway, after that little backstage promo, we get the last man standing match between Flair and Mick Foley. Very brutal match. I mean, I don't know if it outdid the SummerSlam I Quit match or what, but it was very brutal. Flair throws Foley off the stage through a table, which is filled with DVDs and books and stuff. And it was just back and forth, this thing. I mean, Flair got hit with the barbed wire baseball bat. He got hit with a barbed wire board. And then after that, I mean, Flair even brought in thumbtacks, but he gets backdropped into them. When both men were bleeding profusely, Flair just kept coming, though. Like I said, even after he got hit by that barbed wire board, he even dove off the top rope up through a table onto Foley, through a table, which was kind of cool. But then after that, stands back up, and he falls flat first into the thumbtacks, losing the last man standing match. By a second, loses it by a second or two. And again, how fucked up was this live edition of Impact? Jeremy Borash, who's the ring announcer, calls it a Falls Count Anywhere match instead of a last man standing match. Yeah, that's how much they're used to doing a taping. And I'll be back with part 2 of my review.